Data is the new oil, and companies are digging faster than ever to get their share. You leave behind traces every time you tap, speak, or scroll, and these fragments are fuel for the machines learning to shape your world. The bigger the data hoard, the smarter the AI, and the tighter the grip on what you see, buy, and believe. It's not just about convenience anymore, it's control. What you share online isn't just being stored, it's being trained into algorithms that make choices for you. And the more they learn, the harder it becomes to know what's personal and what's being predicted. You might not see the data fight, but you feel it every time an ad hits too close to home. But this fight isn't just about money, it's about controlling the future of AI, and your privacy might be the price. You think you're using an app, but it's using you, learning your habits, your moods, even your secrets. The companies with the biggest data vaults become the most powerful, not just in dollars, but in influence. They decide what's new, what's normal, and what's next. And as these models grow smarter, they start making choices you never asked for. That recommended item in your feed? That personalized ad? It's not random. It's the result of a silent auction happening behind the scenes. Your data as the currency, your attention as the prize. You can't see the trade, but you live with the consequences. The more they know, the less you do. It's not just the amount of data that matters, it's how it's used. Imagine every search, every voice command, every photo you upload, becoming fuel for machines that learn faster than humans can unlearn. These companies aren't just storing your information, they're building models that mimic your behavior, predict your needs, and shape your choices, often without your knowledge. The more they collect, the more they refine. Your habits become patterns, your preferences become predictions. What starts as a personalized playlist might end up steering your mood or your spending. It's not just about convenience anymore, it's about control. And the companies with the most data? They get to define what's normal, what's popular, what's next. You think you're shaping the future of AI, but in reality, the future is shaping you. Each new data point adds weight to their models, making them harder to question, harder to challenge, and harder to escape. You might not see the fight for data, but you're already in it. And the more you use, the more you lose. And the more they refine, the more they need. Every interaction leaves a trace. Every swipe adds another layer to the map they're building of your life. It's not just what you say or click, it's how long you pause, which links you hover over, what you delete. The AI is learning not just facts, but patterns, subtle, personal, and sometimes even subconscious. It doesn't just recognize you, it predicts you, and the more it learns, the more it needs to stay relevant. New data means better models, and better models mean better control. You might think you're using the technology, but it's using you to get smarter, and the race is accelerating. Every voice command, every photo, every location check-in, it all becomes part of the fuel that powers the next generation of AI. This isn't just about improving algorithms, it's about building systems that know you better than you know yourself. And with that knowledge comes influence. You don't just shape AI, it shapes you. Every tap, every swipe, every breath you take into a voice assistant is a data point. These fragments aren't just numbers, they're the fingerprints of your behavior, your habits, your unspoken preferences. Companies aren't just collecting data, they're building profiles. What you buy, what you ignore, even what you delete gets logged. And the more they have, the more they can guess what you'll do next. You might think it's harmless, but when your choices are subtly nudged by invisible hands, it's not just convenience, it's control. And it doesn't stop at ads. Voice assistants, smart homes, even your car are listening. The line between helpful and invasive is blurring. What's worse, you can't always opt out. Once your data is in the system, it's there to stay. The next step? AI that doesn't just understand you, it anticipates you, and the more it learns, the harder it becomes to escape its reach. That constant stream of information is fuel for algorithms you've never met, but trust more than you realize. Every photo you upload, every voice command you give, every like or no thanks is another brick in a wall of understanding about you. The companies aren't just competing for better products, they're battling to be the first to decode what makes people tick. But here's the catch. If one company gets ahead, it doesn't just win the race, it sets the rules. Who decides what your preferences mean? What you're allowed to see next? That's not just smart AI anymore, that's personalized power. The smarter the system becomes, the less you see the strings. It's not just convenience, it's conditioning. You start to believe these suggestions are natural, when in fact, they're the result of a relentless relentless push to predict and influence. And the more they know, the easier it is to keep you hooked. Not by accident, but by design. The battle for data isn't just about who has more, it's about who controls what happens next. These aren't just companies with servers, they're architects shaping the next chapter of how we live, work, and even think. The treasure chest they wrestle over? It's you, your habits, your time, your attention. The more they collect, the more they can predict what you'll click next, what you'll buy, what you'll believe. And here's the quiet trap: the better they get, the harder it becomes to tell where you end and the algorithm begins. But what happens when one company gets so far ahead that they're not just predicting, you can't even think outside their system? That's not just an AI advantage, that's a monopoly of minds. And if they're that good, what happens to the people who can't afford to play? Are you still in control, or is the control moving somewhere else? The next question isn't just who wins the data race, it's who gets to decide what you're allowed to see.